So, have you been bit when you were doing one of these extraction jobs?
Never,
Never?
never.
Wow.
I did have my partner at the Serpentarium. Actually, he did get bit on a job uh, outside of Hamlin, and that was a really bad deal. He was helping me out that day, and it was one of those deals where I should have listened to my gut a little bit more. It was really hot outside, and they were doing remodeling on this house, so they closed these rattlesnakes in there, and there was only five of them underneath there. But when I got there, I crawled underneath. It was really difficult for me to even get underneath this house. There was just no room, and Tony was on the outside. And normally in a situation like that, I will grab a snake and hand it to him, and he will grab it and pull it out of the hole and put it, in an enclosure. But these snakes, as soon as I got under there, they were pissed off. They were rattling. I grabbed one snake, got it out, and then there was a big snake right in front of me. It was the biggest one under there, and it wasn't a huge snake, probably four and
How
a half
far away
foot,
from you
but
for people that are trying to get a visual on this?
probably four
Oh,
feet, something like that,
he can.
4 to 5
Okay.
foot. And so I'm on my belly, and this guy's he's fired up, ready to go, and I grab him and I hand him over to Tony. The problem that we ran into is the way that the beams underneath the house ran. Tony was having to when I handed him the snake and he grabbed it, he was having to move the snake around and then come
Mm-hmm.
up out of the hole like that because it was just a small hole inside of a closet. Basically, is how you got underneath the house. And when he did that, I told him, I said, I handed him the snake and it looked like it was a little bit far down. And I said, "Are you sure you got it?" And he said, "Yeah." And so once he said, "Yeah," my attention was focused back on the other three snakes that were in front of me.
And how far are
And
they
I
away?
heard him
So
four or
they're
five foot,
all generally in
something
the
like that.
same. All the snakes were in the same general
Yeah,
area. Okay.
this in this case, yeah, and generally
Mm-hmm.
they are. Uh, and when I focused back on those other three snakes, I could hear him trying to get this snake out. Like I said, it was weird for him, a weird way for him to maneuver to
Mm-hmm.
get it out. And then I just heard him yell "shit" really loud, and I heard him yell "shit," and then I heard him like step back, and I knew immediately what had
Yeah.
happened. And he said something like, "Dude, I just got bit." And the problem now was I had another snake in my tongs, and the snake that he had, he never pulled it out. It bit him. Basically, he grabbed it too far back, and when he was maneuvering, he moved his hand like this to get leverage and turn it, and it got
Uh
him on the
oh.
wrist. So now I have, and the way that he had it, this snake is hung up in his tongs and closed and pinched, and there's no way for me to get out of the house now. The snake is stuck right there, and I had one in my tongs, one stuck in his tongs, and I have no idea what's going on above me. I can just hear kind of
Uh-huh.
chaos. And so what I decided to do with the one that I had, I kind of turned and I just flung it, as far as I could, kind of away. And then the others in front of me, I just kind of tapped them and made them move down the wall. And now it was me trying to figure out how to get this one that was hung up in his tongs. So I eventually, grabbed it with mine and figured out a way to get this snake out. And I did the same thing, flung it. And then by the time all of that happened, when I got out of that hole, he was already passed out
Oh
100%.
wow.
So, I mean, literally maybe 2 to 3 minutes tops, and he was already passed out. And he's not a small person either. He's a big, stout guy, and he was just completely lights out. And the ranch foreman out there was just flipping out. He had no idea what was going on. He thought he was dead. And I was like, no, he's not. And I was yelling from underneath the house, dial
Mm-hmm.
911, just because I didn't know how long I was going to be under the house with everything that was going on. But I got out. He was passed out. I got him some water, and one of the guys had a bandana, and I got some cold water on it, loaded him up, and we actually met the ambulance from Hamlin, and they hauled him back to Abilene, and he was fine
Was
after
that
that.
his first snake bite?
No, that was
So
before.
he had been bitten before.
The veterans.
Wow.
The under the house deal that'd be another thing that would bother me is the claustrophobia.
Yeah. Yeah.
It can be bad at times, but for the most part, I think I'm pretty comfortable in most of these situations. Uh, the worst I've ever felt was actually in Maljamar, New Mexico. I think we got 30, 35, 36 snakes out from under there, but it was the way that I don't know if it's just that they build houses different over there. I'm not really sure, but every 10 by 10 feet has like a concrete chamber that goes. So all these chambers are really really small, and we were under there, and there was probably 20 snakes in this one chamber, and some really big snakes that were really really pissed off, and I had nowhere to move. There was at one point I had two snakes crawl over my legs. I had one crawl over my arm while I had another one in. It's those are awkward.
Yeah, I'd say
awkward
that.
Now,
moments.
so when they crawl over you, they're not looking to attack you per se. They're just trying to go from point A to point B, right? Now,
Right, and I'm just
good
in the
luck
way.
telling yourself that,
Yeah.
but when you're under a house with them.
Yeah, the first time it happened, I did kind of I don't. I kind of flipped out a little bit just because it had never happened before, but it's happened probably I don't know a dozen times since then, and it's all worked out in my favor.